Ever wonder why a tiny speck of dust can cost a chip company millions of dollars? Or why the semiconductor industry is obsessed with something as simple as a round slice of silicon? Let's talk about the humble wafer, the unsung hero of every smartphone, laptop, and electric vehicle you've ever used. So, what exactly is a wafer? Imagine a super thin, perfectly flat disk made of silicon, the same stuff you find in sand. But this isn't your beach day sand. This is ultra-pure, refined silicon, sliced from a single crystal cylinder, polished to a mirror finish. And it's on this wafer that all modern chips are built, layer by layer. Like constructing a miniature city on a dinner plate. Now, wafers come in standard sizes. The most common ones you'll hear about are 200 mm and 300 mm in diameter. That's about 8 inches and 12 inches, respectively. And here's the thing, bigger isn't just a flex. It's a game changer for costs. Why? Because chips are made in batches. Each batch processes an entire wafer at once. A larger wafer can fit more chips on its surface. So, if you're a chip maker, you want to maximize the number of usable chips you get from each wafer. That's where yield comes in, the percentage of good, working chips on a wafer. And yield is directly tied to defects. Defects are tiny imperfections, a speck of dust, a scratch, a chemical impurity that can ruin a chip. They're like potholes on a highway. If a pothole appears in the middle of your lane, you can't use that lane. Similarly, if a defect lands on a chip, that chip is scrap. Now, here's the critical part, defects are random. They can appear anywhere on the wafer. And as wafers get larger, the number of chips per wafer grows faster than the wafer's circumference. So, a bigger wafer means more chips, but also more area where defects can strike. The trick is to keep the defect density, the number of defects per square centimeter, low enough that the yield stays high. Let's make this concrete. Think of a pizza. A 12-inch pizza gives you about 8 slices. An 18-inch pizza gives you about 14 slices, almost twice as many. But imagine you have a limited number of burnt pepperoni pieces that you have to randomly scatter on the pizza. On the 12-inch pizza, maybe 2 slices get burnt. On the 18-inch, you might lose 3 or 4 slices. That's okay, you still get more good slices overall, as long as the burnt pepperoni isn't too dense. But if the defect density is high, the larger pizza could end up with fewer good slices than the smaller one. That's the gamble. Now here's a common misconception. People think a bigger wafer always means cheaper chips. And yes, in theory, a 300 mm wafer can produce roughly 2.4 times more chips than a 200 mm wafer. While the cost of processing it is only about 1.5 to 1.8 times higher. That's a big cost advantage. But that advantage only exists if your yield is high enough. If your process has too many defects, the bigger wafer just gives you more broken chips. So, moving to a larger wafer size requires incredibly clean manufacturing, often called clean rooms that are thousands of times cleaner than a hospital operating room. This is why the industry spent billions to transition from 200 mm to 300 mm wafers back in the early 2000s. It wasn't just about making bigger circles. It was about improving yield and defect control to make those bigger circles profitable. And today, the next frontier is 450 mm wafers, but that's been delayed for years because the cost and technical challenges are enormous. So, next time you hear about a chip shortage or a factory expansion, remember the wafer. It's the foundation of everything. And its size, along with the invisible battle against defects, determines whether a chip maker thrives or just survives. Now here's a hint, in our next episode, we'll dive deep into yield rates, the hidden metric that determines profitability. You'll see why a 1% improvement in yield can be worth billions. and how companies obsess over every single good chip. Subscribe to Taiwan Tech Pulse for more Taiwan Tech 101.